Hey, everybody, welcome to Coach's Corner number 8. Up next, we'll have Coach Leonard with us. Adam Leonard, the head football coach at Bellingham High School, the Bayhawks. He's creeping around behind me. Also, we're going to have a great trip to Friday Harbor, so make sure you join us for the Coach's Corner. Also, I'd like to thank our sponsors, Lewis Auto Glass, Bellingham, Mount Vernon, and especially out at Linden. They were really helpful with the Linden Lions senior night out there. Really appreciate all that Lewis Auto Glass does for our community. And Reardon's Dodge Jeep Chrysler Ram of Marysville. And of course, the Bellingham location. Go see the fellas in Bellingham. So stay tuned for the Coach's Corner.
Experience and trust has made Lewis Auto and Residential Glass the Northwest's leading choice since 1929. Whether it's on-the-spot rock chip repair or replacing your windshield, we have been trained and certified to strict national standards to ensure your safety. Our residential division offers the latest in vinyl windows, showers, mirrors, cut, and custom glass. Locally owned and operated since 1929, Lewis Auto and Residential Glass in Bellingham, Linden, and Mount Vernon.
Hi, I'm Atlee.
Welcome to week 8 of the Coach's Corner.
Week 8 of the Coach's Corner.
Go Bayhawks.
Go Bayhawks.
Very good. Hey, welcome back to the Coach's Corner, week 8. I can't believe, Coach, we have gone through 8 weeks. We're starting our 8th week of games. Your record is above 500, which we talked about last week. We're just going to dive right into it tonight because I got a lot of things I want to talk about, and I don't want to take 30 minutes so everybody has to watch, except for Frosty. We know you'll watch it for 30 minutes. So, all right, let's recap. Blaine, we were talking about it. We were talking about it after the game on Friday night. Most all around, I have to say, most all around game I've seen you coach since you started here 2 years ago here at Bellingham High School.
You know what? I probably have to agree with you, Mike. That was just a complete game. We've played some complete games in this 4-game winning streak, but obviously we're going against a really kind of hot blind team too. Coming off I told Coach Olson before the game, what a monster win coming to beat Meridian. I mean, that's a rivalry game for them. That's a game in which no one really picked them to win.
Nope.
Actually, nobody picked them to win. And they go out there in a last-second field goal and they take care of it against Meridian. That's a huge win for Blaine. Keeps their playoff hopes alive, I guess. The only team that's mathematically eliminated in the 1A is Meridian. But then I looked at Blaine's schedule and I go, they got to contend with us. Then they got to go to Linden Christian and Nooksack. I'm like, those are 3 tough games. Yeah. And I said, they're probably fired up to think that this is one of those winnable games as they go out. So they were feeling pretty good. But we came out there and we just did everything right on defense. We did everything right on offense. My heart stopped a little bit when my starting running back told me 10 minutes before the game that he was ineligible due to injury. Wow, that really gave me a little bit of panic, but you know what? Next person up, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, you know what we can do really well, Mike? We can throw the ball around the yard. And then I look in the air and it starts pouring rain right at game time. But the fact that Josh really stepped up, throwing the ball 320 yards through the air, 5 touchdowns, all of them to Wyatt Steffen. Wyatt Steffen he's making a name for himself right now, and he's just one of many receivers that we have that are just, in my opinion, I wouldn't trade one of those guys for anybody in the county right now. I feel like we have the top 3 receivers, and I love having those guys. They're playing at a high level, they're playing for each other, and they're playing with a level of confidence that is really awesome to see.
Okay, so just so everybody back home knows, he answered about 7 questions in one stint. But that's because we think a lot alike. So let's just talk about this. So it started pouring rain. Let's go back. So right before the game starts, I always come down and I get the lineups and I get things put together with you. From a distance, I could tell we had a distraught look on our face. You were chiseled and focused, and you were talking with the athletic trainer, and there was an issue, and you just rolled with it. I mean, it was amazing to me to watch you. I mean, you're an old coach, but you're young here.
Right.
And dealing with the things that you've been dealing with here, whether it's grades or whatever else it is out there, right before game time.
That I just talked about it earlier, but it was just one of those things. Was like, well, you have a game plan. My game plan is Holden Bates might be one of the fastest kids, if not the fastest kid in
He's
our team.
unbelievable. I mean, he's unbelievable.
The kid can put his foot in the ground and cut, and he probably beats everybody in a 40. Now I probably take Wyatt over him in 100, but not a 40.
We're going to talk about that in a second.
Yeah. So, but he is just a special athlete, and then all of a sudden, when you find out, you're looking down your list, and you're like, okay, well, Tyree Jackson's going to have to get some carries. He's our JV running back. Tyler Frost is going to have to play double duty, and as you know, Tyler's a big physical guy who plays so hard on defense. It's tough to play two ways at this level, and he did a great job for us. And so I started having a mindset. We're going to run the ball, but might be more running the ball to set up the pass, and we still need that threat. Otherwise, everybody, the opposing team knows exactly what you're doing. But I was just really proud of the way Tyree ran the ball, the way Frosty ran the ball. I mean, what a great opening drive too. I think we went 98 yards, pass, run, pass, and then Frosty, man, chewed his way into the end zone.
Chewed, man, he was pounding.
Yeah, so, and we needed that too, because it showed that, hey, this team that we can air it out, but we can also run the ball when we need to. And a big credit to our offensive line, because they kept Josh dry the whole night. I mean, not dry from the rain, but he kept them upright the whole night. And then, of course, the blocking they did for our not only for Frosty, but for our young JV.
For Jackson.
Man, what a great game for him too.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. I mean, the right side. I mean, Finn and Jesse have just really worked that right side, the blind side of Josh to no end. Tyler hurts his ankle. He's had a nagging ankle injury that's been with us since camp. Comes out late at halftime. I mean, for a guy to go both directions as hard as he plays, at the level that he plays, it's phenomenal. And then your JV guy comes in and he sets it up to where you throw a little dump pass to Steffens, and he just goes. I mean, I've not seen a kid move that fast down the sideline. I mean, he jukes two guys and he's gone.
So, yeah, I mean, obviously we know we can go deep with Wyatt. We can go deep with anybody. Bly, Wyatt, JT, Josh Toll. We can do those things. We can run play action out of the backfield with the wagon, with Gabe Van Hoff wagon. So we have those options. But the other things too is we can run quick hitches. We can run tunnel screens to Wyatt. And I'm telling you right now, you don't want to be one-on-one trying to tackle that guy.
No way.
You need help, because he is just too shifty, too quick, and too explosive. And so is Josh Toll. And so is Bly. And Bly's getting bigger and more physical every day. Every time I see him at practice, I think he's grown a half an inch. And he's starting to, I mean, he's a complete player. So we just have weapons. And, it makes Josh smile every time he gets out here at practice, knowing that he's got all these weapons to throw to out here. And, just looking at the leaderboard in walk-on preps, of the top 5 guys, we got number 1 and number 3. And I have to remind some of the other kids that I've coached that are on that list too, that White started playing in week 4. So,
and that was exactly the point I was going to make. So, Walk-in Preps. If you haven't seen the podcast, go to walkinpreps.com and listen to Rylan and Tyler do their thing. But this week especially, can you imagine what Wyatt Steffens' records would be here at Bellingham High School if he would have played even 3 years, his sophomore, junior, senior year?
Well, it's not even that record too. It's what about Josh Toll?
Yeah, exactly.
Josh and Wyatt. I mean, they're breaking records in a single season record. I mean, I also think about too, what ends up Josh Leonard. I mean, I've had this job his sophomore year. I mean, we're talking like ridiculous numbers. I mean, he could possibly be breaking career passing and playing 1 year.
1 year.
And so we're seeing just electric numbers from Josh Toll, electric numbers from Wyatt Steffen, Josh. I mean, our offense is just clicking, but I don't want to make it all about offense, because our defense has just been hammering people right now. And except that maybe a little special team error we had, we are really shutting people down. And even in that game against Blaine, we did have a complete game, but there were still things we needed to clean up. We had a stop in where we had running into the kicker, and then we complicated that with an offsides, and then we set them up for a touchdown. We don't make those mistakes. I feel like the game was more like a 40-12 rather than a 40-23.
Right.
But we got the win, and that's what it's all about. And it was a great team effort, and that's 4 in a row.
If it was totally perfect, you'd have to go to Vegas and hang out with your dad or something.
I would.
Right.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Because there wouldn't be much to work on at practice.
Exactly. But there's always something to work on.
So let's talk about your defense. We talked about last week. Next man up. You proved it right before game time. Next man up. Owen Hanstead had 5-6 interceptions going into game 7. 4 opportunities, 4 times. One time it was close. The referees took it away from him. 2 times it hit him in the chest plate and the hands. Unbelievable athlete. Only a sophomore.
Sophomore, one of the best safeties right now. I mean, right now he's having, you know, all conference numbers for a safety, and he's just playing lights out defensively. And I don't know, I mean, you see it, but Owen's an incredible athlete. Sophomore, he is just one tough, and I say little guy because he's shorter, but he is one tough kid.
Yep.
And he's physical, and he likes to mix it up, and he's got a nose for the ball. And, you know, this week he might get 2.
You
Make
bet.
sure he gets back on
Get
track.
back on track.
Right. Yeah, he's going into, you know, still leading the county right now with 6 interceptions. I have to find out where he's at in the conference, but I'm assuming he's number 1 in the conference. And you got Nate Loss, you know, at 3, you know, still in the top 5. We got 2 safety. Our 2 safeties are just ball hawks.
Yeah.
So super excited about what they're doing, and like I said, only a sophomore. So.
Putting a lot of pressure on the quarterback too.
Absolutely.
I mean, you've got guys that are just flying after quarterbacks, running backs. I mean, not many mistakes were made last week.
No, I mean, if we look at our defensive line too, I mean, we got Elias Tagaje. He's just, you know, he's top 5 in sacks, and he started late too.
You
He
bet.
wasn't in the first game. I mean, he's 6'4", 6'5", long. Just when he's healthy, and he's unblockable out there. And what a great game for a sophomore, Sonny Powell.
I'm just gonna say, Sonny, man,
stepping
yeah.
up. You know, another
Yeah.
sophomore, Joe Harward coming in and just doing the job. Guys coming up and just, you know, filling that role, and they're going to have they'll be challenged this week too when they have to step up for some guys that have been out for either academic or for injury. So. But yeah, it's been the play of our defensive line. Our linebackers are outstanding, and just our corners have been shutting down. And how about coming into the game? He gets a tackle in the second play and an interception on the third. Aaron went down with a little bit of an ankle twist, but he's okay for this week. And we're like, hey, why get out there and go cover? And he was a little bit like, what do I do? I go, just go cover, and you'll be fine.
Just play good basketball defense.
Yeah, you know, he said to me, he said, well, I made a tackle. I was too high. I go, yeah, but you're physically strong enough to take him down. And then I go, I wouldn't throw anywhere near you. And then they threw near you, got an interception. So it was a great day for him on defense. Just an overall great day. He got player of the week for Whatcom Preps, for
Yeah.
offensive player of the week.
Yeah.
Just a special day for him. And honestly, it's really exciting with Whatcom Preps too. Is I'm seeing a lot of Bayhawk backgrounds.
Lots of Bayhawk.
I feel like in 7 weeks we've had 3 offensive players in the week. In 7 weeks we've had a defensive player of the week. In 7 weeks we've had an offensive lineman of the week. We are just rolling right now, so we are really excited about that.
Talking a little bit about that. You know, Wyatt coming out and playing in a defensive spot. Again, just having the confidence. I mean, you guys have got some really good swagger going right now, which is tough. Going into Friday Harbor, they're coming off some big victories. They're stomping people into the ground. You're playing on real grass instead of our AstroTurf. What do you see?
Well, I mean, Friday Harbor's a great team. You know, they're right now they're a win away from winning their league and going to the playoffs for 2B. They play physical. They don't try to hide much. They're just going to say, we're going to run it here, and they just line up and want to hit you in the mouth. But I think we like that.
Yeah.
I think we respond really well to that. And I think it just fits what we want. We want to mix it up with them. We got guys on the defensive line, Jesse Harwood. We got guys on the defensive line with Elias Tagaje. We got Tyler Frost, a middle linebacker, who wants to come up and hit you.
And he hit some guys on Friday night.
And when he hits you, you can hear it all over the stadium.
You can, yeah.
So we feel like we match up well with them. And then, of course, my thing with any team we play is you try to match our speed and our receivers and our passing attack and our running game. Now, we're going to have Holden Bates back this week. He's got everything taken care of with his thumb. He does have a bit of a fracture, but he's able to play, cleared to play with a brace and some tape. So he'll be ready to go. He looked excellent this week at practice. He had a great week of practice. So I think he was upset that he didn't get to play last week, but he's back out there.
I agree, 100%. Boy, it was funny to watch him on the sideline. He was jacked up.
Oh, he is ready this week. He is looking fast and quick, and might have to throw a couple run plays in this week, Mike.
That's good. No, that's good. Breaks it up a little bit.
Exactly.
The only guy you got to deal with is the guy that you go home with. So
That's right.
he's the one that's going to tell you.
Oh yeah.
Friday Harbor runs. They pass. They're smash mouth. They're on the verge of, like you said, winning their league. Long trip for you. You know.
Long day. It's gonna be a fun day though. It's
Yeah.
gonna be almost kind of a team building opportunity. Get the guys together and have some fun. We want to be loose and then tighten it up on the ferry. Make sure we're starting to get our focus in. But we're looking forward to it. It's gonna be a fun day. Friday Harbor does some good things. They have a really athletic quarterback who can bootleg out and make some plays. They're not a sit back in the pocket and pick you apart kind of like we do, but they definitely like to bootleg out off their wing tee. And they have a big, powerful running back. He's kind of a mini. I think Frosty will debate whether or not he's as big and physical as he is, but they're very similar in many ways.
So if you haven't seen, the local newspaper did a great article on you and Josh
Oh, yeah.
today. Um, it's got to be just an unbelievable thrill to be able to do what you're doing right now with Josh being a senior, just a few games left in his senior career. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, it's not only just Josh. I mean, that is to be able to coach him his senior year is an absolute blessing, and it's something that I feel very fortunate to get that opportunity to do. But it's the kids I've also coached since they were in youth ball. It's your son. It's Jesse, who I coached in 8th grade and had a ball doing that. It's Josh Toll, so I started playing back in the flag days in 2nd and 3rd grade, and it's Tanner Law. I mean, these guys all played youth ball. Gabe Van Hofwagen, and it's just seeing them. It's just been so awesome. I wish I could coach all of the kids that are in the city right now. The kids over at Seaholman and Squalicum, because they mean so much to me. As for Josh, though, it's been awesome, and I've never seen him play more relaxed and loose before. He's playing at a high level. And one thing the article touched on too is Josh led the Northwest Conference last year in touchdowns with 16, and he's on track to double all those from last year, and that's pretty impressive. So, and the most important thing is he's having a lot of fun. Yeah. He loves his teammates. He loves the coaching staff, and he's just, there's a big smile on his face, and that I couldn't ask for anything more.
Yeah,
that's way for me. That's more important than the wins and losses and all the numbers, is the fact that he's out here and he's enjoying playing the game he loves.
Great. Anything behind the scenes we need to know about? Everything's clear. Everything's good. Got a few injuries.
We have a few injuries. We have some kids coming off that are academically ineligible. Unfortunately, they're working to get their grades up. They're getting in a study hall, working and getting that part, because they're student athletes. That's the most important thing. But it's going to be a long trip tomorrow. It's going to be a fun environment,
It's going to be,
yeah. When you play a small town, good story. We got the young guys back here when these guys were 8 years old. So a couple of years ago, I think I might have been 7 years old. We played Friday Harbor in a youth game, and it was in the spring because it was a COVID season, and we went over there at their high school, and there must have been 1,100 fans, cheerleaders. The whole town came out, and obviously two things. One, small town environment, and there was nothing to do in COVID. Nope. So people were like, we're going to go watch a football game, and we had a football game, and it was just the most amazing atmosphere, and I'm expecting the same thing for Friday Night Lights on the island.
Yeah, I was looking at film and saw the same thing. People are wrapped around the field because there's not enough room in the bleachers to set everybody, so it's going to be an exciting night. Well, Coach, we sure appreciate it, man. 8 weeks, you just keep chugging away, and it's going to be a fun night, Friday night.
I can't wait.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah,
appreciate
thank you. Hey, make sure that you go to the Cascade Daily and look at that article. Unbelievable article on Josh Leonard and Coach Adam Leonard. Really a nice one. We'll be right back. Thanks for joining me on the Coach's Corner. Hey, welcome back. Again, I want to thank Coach Adam Leonard for another great edition of Coach's Corner. I'd like to thank him for just being so open with us and kind of giving you a little bit of a look behind the scenes before game time. Going to be a great game. Please make sure you join us for game times at 6:30. We'll be live about 15 minutes early. So make sure you let us know your comments. Stick with us. Next Thursday, Coach's Corner, we're going to have an unbelievable special guest. Please make sure you join us, set a little notice, subscribe, like us, and make sure, you just let it run sometimes. We need some minutes. So even though you're not watching the whole thing, push play, watch your favorite moments, and just let it run. We need some minutes on our YouTube channel. And yeah, I'm just what's the proper word? I'm begging for you to watch us and give us a little more love. We appreciate everybody that helps out with the Bellingham High School Bayhawk program, the band, the cheerleaders, the parents club, the groups that do things behind the scenes, the administration. We appreciate everybody. Thank you so much for allowing us to be a part of the Bayhawks. Remember, this is an M&B production. We are not affiliated with Bellingham High School or the Bellingham School District. So if you have an issue, bring it up with my boss, Brock, in your comments. Have a great night, everybody.